Hey guys, it's me Sunny, and today I just want to talk to you guys. Like, why not? So the other day, a friend of mine called me, and she's like, "Hey, we should go out and catch up." And I was like, "All right, sure." And so we went to the library. The kids were supposed to be reading books, but they were just running around. It was in the kids section, so they had like toys and stuff there for them, so they were okay. And we went into like the little cafe area, which is right next door. Where we can see the kids playing, and we talked, and she's basically saying, asked me about my life and what's going on, and I was telling her, and she's telling me about her life and all this stuff. And then I told her about the thing with my ex fiance and how he's supposed to be coming here and all this stuff, and she's like, "Yeah, that's interesting, but maybe you should try focusing on you right now instead of focusing on him." After all, your dad did say that he didn't want you with him for a good reason, and so maybe you should trust him and listen, and you should focus on yourself. And it's really good since you have days in which you don't have the kids where you would have time to do what you want to do. And she's talking about how she felt like some days she'd think about who she'd be if she hadn't gotten married at the time she did, or she got married later. Who would she be, and what would she have accomplished by then, and all that stuff. And she says, "Well, now I have the time. I had the time to accomplish the goals that I want to accomplish because literally, like right now, I don't have my kids; they're with their dad, and so I had no excuse not to accomplish my goals." And I was telling her about the spa, and she's telling me, "Yeah, but you have more goals than that. You can accomplish more than that, or you can figure out where things went wrong and all this stuff." And I said, "Yeah, you're kind of right." Then she said, "Just find a hobby or something that you like to do." And I said, "Well, I like to write, and that's why I'm writing my books again." She says, "Well, that's good. Let me see it." And I said, "Okay, I'll show you." And then she's just like, you can continue doing this, and this should fulfill you. And I was like, "Yeah, but I still want male company. I still want a man's touch. I like being physically intimate. I think that's the best thing in the world, besides Jesus." And she's like, "Yeah, I understand that, but if you fill up your day with something that you like or love a lot, then it might take away some of that desire to do things with, men and stuff like that." And I said, "Well, you can't. How do you know? Because you're married, and so you have your man all the time. Like if you want a hug, if you want a kiss, you can do whatever you want with your husband." She's like, "Yeah, but blah blah blah." And I was, "All right, cool, all right." And so I was just telling her, things I'm up to. And I started thinking like, yeah, I really do have time to work on myself more. And I said, what I want to do besides writing? Like writing is great, it's awesome, and I plan to get publish my next 3 books. But what else do I want to do? What can I do that'll make some money? And I said, "Sonia, well, think about what you wanted to do when you were married. What void did you have when you were married?" And I said, "The spa." But we've already established I'm not doing that anymore. I quit. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. And then I said, "What else did I want to do when I was married?" And it was like I wanted to have my magazine, which I did my magazine, and it was great. But having the deadlines to interview people got to be a lot for me, and I didn't like that. I still like writing, but not the deadlines that I gave myself. Because to edit and do all these things every single week for a magazine, it was crazy, 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 crazy. So I said, what else did I want to do when I was married? What void did I have when I was married? And besides actually having him be all over me like I wanted him to be, the void was I wanted to own a lingerie business. You remember that, guys? Do you remember? You probably don't remember. It was years ago. But I want to have a lingerie business. I like buying lingerie. I made videos on how I'm going to have a lingerie company and all this good stuff. You remember, guys? I created social media for my lingerie business. I created an email account. I created all these things. I got my EIN and everything like that for my lingerie business. And then I did absolutely nothing with it because I couldn't find reliable vendors. Remember, it was right around the pandemic. Everybody was creating businesses, and it was hard to know who to trust because there were just different vendors popping up left and right, and you don't know if they were legit or not. So end up not doing that. But I said, I think I'm going to do that again. I think I'm going to, for income, write books and sell lingerie. I think that's what I'm going to do. And I think my angle is going to be plus size lingerie because I'm plus size, but as I'm losing weight, I also want to stretch out to different other people that wear lingerie. So people that are just newly married who want to wear lingerie. I have the cutest ideas. I have these lingerie boxes that I want to make. I'm not going to tell you everything I want to put in there because somebody might try to take my idea and I really don't want to deal with that right now, especially before I actually start. But I'm thinking I want to do that. And that's what I'm going to put my energy into, as well as my kids. Because with the spa, I kind of made, I don't want to say I put them second string or whatever, because I didn't. But whereas I had my son in boxing, I took him out of boxing because I needed the money to put back into my business. My daughter was in martial arts for a little while, and then she's supposed to go ice. She's supposed to be going to ice skating practice, but I took her to ice skating because one is super expensive, but also I want to invest in my business. So now I got to figure out how am I gonna do these things in my businesses and not take away from my kids as well. So that's the new big thing. Putting my kids first and then putting my business second and third. With writing my books, I can write my books when my kids aren't here, and I can edit when my kids aren't here. But they're going to have to go with me to some of my events when I'm selling my books, and they won't like that. I know they won't. But maybe we can have a trade-off. Maybe if they come with me to my book signings and things of that sort, I'll give them a toy or something. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. But I just want to update you guys, let you know what I'm doing. If you guys have any ideas for either a romance book or a type of lingerie that you like, let me know about it, because that's what I'll be focusing on now. I do have my favorites, and if it weren't, well, never mind. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.